Thank you all very much for sending in your questions for the Thursday Q&A. Make sure you guys send in questions for next Tuesday Q&As. Remember, guys, every Tuesday and Thursday on my channel, I do a Q&A. So make sure you guys send in those questions. Description box down below with all the details. At Pizzic64 asks, do you think Rousey and Lesnar should team up in the WWE or her to be a Paul Heyman girl? No, I don't think it would benefit Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda Rousey has charisma and natural skill where she wouldn't need help from a Brock Lesnar or Paul Heyman. I feel she can play babyface or heel, whichever role, seems to fit her. I think if she does come to the WWE, she would be an automatic babyface because she's a badass chick, and really in today's Divas locker room, who's the badass chick in there? So I don't really think she needs to team with Paul Heyman or Brock Lesnar to make her into a star. I think she's fine on her own. Alexander Pine asks, what are your thoughts on Germany squashing Brazil like a jobber in pro wrestling? I thought it was hilarious, man, because I knew Brazil was going to lose to Germany. Even if Neymar was healthy, I knew they were going to lose, but I didn't think they were going to get crushed like that. Ooh, that was just nasty. Germany was nice enough to at least give them a pity goal. That was nice of Germany. And his second question is, what are your thoughts on the great performance from the U.S. boys in the World Cup and the future of soccer in the U.S. in general? I wouldn't consider it a great performance, maybe just an okay performance. I mean, really a great performance for the U.S., to me at least, would have been at least them making to the final 8. The round of 16 is a nice tip of the cap and all, but I don't really think it's that great of a performance. By the U.S. standards and how awful we've been in the World Cup as of late, I guess it's considered a great performance, but to me, it was just an okay performance. And for U.S. soccer in general, it's not going to help soccer any. It's not like anyone's going to watch MLS just because USA did good in the freaking World Cup. Just because they did get in the World Cup does not mean people are going to start watching MLS or soccer will become more popular here in the U.S. I don't know how the team will be in 2018. That's 4 years from now. We don't know what kind of injuries, what kind of players will pursue other options. So we have to wait and see. So I really can't judge what's going to happen. I mean, this is not like a year-in, year-thing. It's not like the World Cup happens every year where I can judge this like an NFL season or NBA season. It happens every 4 years. So I can't judge how the U.S. team will look in the future, but I don't really think soccer is going to get more popular in the U.S. just because of one game. Will Ferrell number 1 asks, does Michael Cole ever sound like he's bored of calling the same matches on commentary? Yes, he does. I would be too. I would be bored as hell if I had to commentate the same matches, promote the same crap every week, and have JBL and Jerry Lawler say the same exact shit every week. I would be bored too if I was Michael Cole. And how would you book Clem Layfield if he was on Raw and SmackDown? When it comes down to Clem Layfield, how I would book him, pretty much just how he's kind of used on the JBL and Cole show. I would have JBL pretty much just hate him. I would have him butcher every single move that JBL has ever done, make the clothesline from hell look like crap. I would just do that, and I would only have him on TV for like 3 months, and then ultimately JBL will throw him like in a dumpster and get rid of him. So that's what I would do. Lee Kelly asks, first question, what did you think of Rated RKO? Even though it was a throw-together tag team, it was one of my favorites. I liked Rated RKO. I felt that they never got a good ending, and I also didn't feel like it helped either Randy Orton or Edge's career, in my personal opinion, because like they just ended abruptly. It was just like, oh, Randy and Edge hate each other for whatever random reason, so they're no longer friends. They never got a big blow-off pay-per-view match. You would figure, like, it's Randy Orton and fucking Edge. They didn't even get a match at WrestleMania 23 as a big blow-off match between these two. They were thrown in together in the Money in the Bank, and then when they were going to have their blow-off match on Raw, fucking Cena and Michaels went 60 minutes, and so they said goodbye to that Rated RKO stuff. So it didn't really help Edge or Randy, in my personal opinion, but hey, that's just my personal opinion. But I did like them. Second question, would you still watch WWE if we got another decade of dominance by Cena? Nope. I would keep up with results, but I wouldn't watch the product physically. Final Limits asks Q&A, what did you think of when Eddie Guerrero sprayed Big Show with shit on SmackDown in 2003? That was a really funny segment. That was a good storyline, too, between Big Show and Eddie because, Big Show at the time, he was getting one of those rebrandings of being a dominant monster and all that stuff. And Eddie Guerrero was a United States champion. So they were using, like, smart little subtle ways of how Eddie can outsmart the Big Show. Really good stuff by WWE back then. SmackDown was a shit in, like, 2002 to 2004, man. I love that SmackDown. And what did you think of Nathan Jones? Garbage. All he's known for is a bicycle kick and being afraid of flying in an airplane. That's just me. I didn't like Nathan Jones. Didn't think he was good whatsoever in the ring, nor do I care about Nathan Jones whatsoever. Little Fish, what games did you play the most when you had a PSP, and why did you get rid of PSP? I did not get rid of my PSP. My PSP is still around. I just don't play it. As for games that I used to play on the PSP, the Maddens every year, the WWE SmackDown versus Raws. I played Star Wars Battlefront on there. That was one of my favorites to play. And God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Spider-Man. Those were the games I played on my PSP. But I just didn't get rid of it. I just don't really play it that much. I just don't think it's that fun of a console. Do you think Bruce Jenner looks like an old lady? No, but he definitely has an old lady's haircut. I will say that. Dave Lester asks, what did you think of Stevie Richards as Dr. Stevie in TNA? It wasn't my favorite Stevie Richards gimmick. I always give Stevie Richards credit that, you know, he always gets like weird, crappy gimmicks, but he somehow makes them work and he somehow makes them entertaining. And really, I just wasn't feeling Dr. Stevie whatsoever, nor did I care about him. What did you think of Eric Young as the leader of World Elite? I loved Eric Young as the leader of World Elite because at the time, remember, Eric Young was doing all these stupid gimmicks. He was like paranoid, don't fire Eric. You know, he was just a comedy character. And then all of a sudden, you make this comedy character that the fans love, and you manage to turn him heel, and it worked. You get a good, like, little faction around him filled with at least, you know, upper tier guys in TNA at the time. I thought it was great. You know, you could argue at that time, even though, you know, people would shit on it in 2014, but at that time when he was with World Elite, you could have given him the world title, especially how TNA was writing themselves. You could have easily given Eric Young the world title at that time, no questions. Brony Loney asked, what did you think of Samoa Joe's turned heel in 2009 and joined the Main Event Mafia? And what did you think of the Main Event Mafia? When Samoa Joe turned heel in 2009, that was stupid. It was one of the most dumbest things because Samoa Joe was one of their huge baby faces. And you turn him heel just to pair him up with Taz. How does that help Samoa Joe's career, pairing him up with Taz? That doesn't help him whatsoever. So it was stupid. And as far as the Main Event Mafia, I liked the concept, but I ultimately knew that Sting was going to end that shit at Bound for Glory. That's what pissed me off about it. Like, I love the concept. It could have made it for a great storyline. Problem is, an AJ Styles, a Samoa Joe, a Christopher Daniels, a James Storm, a Bobby Roode, the list can go on and on of all these TNA originals. Not a TNA original ended that faction. It was the icon Sting for the billionth time saving a fucking company. So dumb. But I did like the premise at first, but I just hated what it became at near the end of it all. What are your thoughts on Bram and Magnus tag team? And doesn't Bram look just like Gunner? I don't like it. I don't like Bram. I like Magnus, but I just don't like Bram. I feel Magnus could work well as just a singles guy. I don't know why they want to force him as a tag team. Please, please, TNA, just give Magnus another chance at a singles run. I'm not saying another world title run. That was just a debacle. But please, TNA, do something better with Magnus, because I know you can. I know you can. I love Watermelon525 asks Q&A. What did you think of Gene Snitsky and both gimmicks? His It Wasn't My Fault gimmick from 2004 and 2006 and 2007, his bald-haired and yellow teeth gimmick. It Wasn't My Fault gimmick was hilarious because, you know, there would be stuff falling backstage and he would be like, it wasn't my fault. Love that Gene Snitsky. You almost felt like this guy had some type of potential. You know, at first it was really serious when he was saying it wasn't my fault because of the whole Lita and Kane storyline. But then it just became a joke, and so I kind of felt bad for Snitsky there. As for the 2006 and 2007 gimmick, besides the creepy theme music and his name sounding all creepy, it didn't have a character. It was just some ugly dude wrestling. That's really what the 2006 and 2007 Snitsky was, an ugly dude wrestling. It didn't have any direction, any character whatsoever, so I never really liked it. But I did like the It Wasn't My Fault, Gene Snitsky. And where are you staring when you're making videos? You seem to be staring at the side, and why are your eyes wide open during your videos? My eyes are wide open so I could read questions like this and read my notes. And when I'm staring is because right next to me is a window. And sometimes I'll hear noises outside that window, and I'll just be curious, and I'll be looking. And also it helps me kind of, you know, relax my eyes from my computer monitor. So that's why I stare outside sometimes to the side. I try to cut that out as much as possible. I understand it could probably annoy the viewers if I stare to the side way too much, but that's kind of like my way of explaining things. And I'm like someone who likes to use my hands when I talk, or pretend that there's someone next to me to give visual examples. So yeah, that's why I probably stare to the side so often in my videos. What kind of Justin Sag asked Q&A, what kind of cable do you have? AT&T Uverse. Have you ever lost power for hours? If so, how did it feel? Yes, I did, because where I live by my community college, Moore Park College, and they have this turbine. It's pretty much like the turbine for the whole, you know, area of Moore Park where I live in California. And so one day there was a massive windstorm, and it knocked out the whole power of the college. Like, it knocked out the power of the college. And that's talking about taking out one generator and a backup generator. So it took out 2 generators, this crazy ass windstorm. And the power for Moorpark College, you know, pretty much if that's out, there's no power in the area of Moorpark where I live. And so I was without power for 8 fucking hours, man. And let me tell you, people say, oh, I could survive without technology. You know, the first hour, I was doing just fine. And then afterwards, the next 7 hours, I just could not believe it. I was just like trying to find anything to keep me entertained. I was throwing batteries up in the air. I was listening to my iPod, hoping that it wouldn't die out. You know, I was trying to sleep to, you know, hopefully, you know, wake. Like I would do this. I would lay down on my bed, wake up, turn on my, like, press my TV power button, see if it would work, and it didn't turn on. I was like, damn it. But 8 hours of power, it's really terrible. Suggestions, like I said, probably take a nap. Hopefully you could fall asleep, and when you wake up, it works again. Or maybe, you know, go outside and walk around, you know, try to, like, keep your head in anything. But it's crazy. Without technology, some people go crazy. I thought I could last, like, 8 hours without technology, but it was terrible, man. And I remember that was on a Monday, too, and I was worried. I was like, no, it's on a Monday. I might not be able to review Raw this week. No. So I remember I was freaking out about that too. Randy Busette. I hope I pronounced your last name right. Busette. Randy Busette. You'll comment down below if I pronounce it right. What would you do if you got diagnosed with cancer or someone you love from your family did? How would you cope with it? And will you want to die right there? Oh, man. If I was diagnosed with cancer, I would try to do things that I didn't do in life. I would try to become, you know, have fun with my life with whatever remaining time I have left. And same with my family member or friend, whoever got diagnosed with cancer. You know, just make me, you know, just try to, you know, make me have fun during my final days instead of, you know, dwelling that, oh, I'm going to die. Like, I would, you know, at first, like, the first day I would hear it, I would just be like, damn, this sucks. But then afterwards, I would probably just be like, you know what? I'm going to go do some cool stuff right now. I only have this many days to live. Let me go kick some ass and fucking have some fun. So that's what I would do. And what made you decide to do YouTube videos, and what inspired you? What made me want to do YouTube videos was just because I wanted a hobby. You know, I was exiting high school. I just didn't have any hobbies that interest me. I was just like, you know what? I want to do something that I really like. And you know, I saw a bunch of people, you know, doing YouTube videos like Spinnernet, OTR Central, Doug and Tito, you know, Ace's Wrestling Corner, the Wrestling Gurus. You know, I saw people doing these YouTube videos talking about wrestling, and I said, you know, I have the same opinions as those guys right there. I feel like I can talk on the camera. Let me try this. And you know, I've talked about wrestling so many times on the forums. You know, I used to go on pwmania.com when they used to have their forums. I used to, you know, talk all the time on the forums. So, you know, for me, it was like, you know, whatever people said to me on the internet, it wouldn't affect me. It wouldn't get into my psyche. It wouldn't make me go like, oh, these people are mean to me because they said I suck in my videos. So, you know, I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to go out there and have fun doing it and talk about it. And I just love doing it. This is my hobby. I love making videos. I love talking about wrestling. It's cool for me to be able to come on here and talk about wrestling with a bunch of people. That's what it is for me. You know, like, there's not a lot of wrestling fans outside of my house. You know, I only know like 2 or 3. Outside of my house, I only know 2 or 3 people that, you know, watch professional wrestling, and they don't even watch it on a consistent basis. So it's nice to know, like, I can go online and I can talk wrestling and sports and all this other stuff with other people. And so it's a great way for me to, you know, express myself. And, you know, if you want to start a channel, or anyone else wants to start a channel, go right ahead, man. You know, if you feel like you want to have fun doing this, you know, it is fun. You know, don't let anything that, you know, in your head, like, say you can't do it. Just go out there and have fun. That's what I do every time I make a video. Make sure to make it fun. Let's see. All right, Jack Trice asked, what did you think of when Finlay was a face in WWE 2008 and 09? I feel like WWE didn't really capitalize on that, in all honesty, because, like, you know, he was coming out with Hornswoggle. You know, he was actually really hot as a face. Like, not super hot where the point where we should throw a title on him hot, like a world title, but he was definitely hot, and I'm surprised they didn't use him a lot more effectively. I feel like that's one move of Finlay's career that, you know, I think some people will regret. It's just like, you know, he was with Hornswoggle, you know, who the kids loved at the time. You know, he had a happy-go-lucky music. He was a badass baby face. It wasn't like he was taking shit from anyone. You could have used him so much better, but they kind of just left him on the wayside, and he was wrestling on, like, Velocity and shit. So, yeah, man, they really wasted Finlay back then. And what did you think of Finlay's vignettes and WWE debut in January 2006? interesting because I didn't know who Finlay was before WWE because of WCW stuff. So I was kind of interested. It wasn't like I was saying, "Oh, look at this new guy, Finlay." Like I knew who Finlay was, so I was interested to see what he was going to do. His vignettes weren't interesting to me. They were just kind of like, "Oh, look at me! I'm looking at the ocean. My name is Finlay, and I like to fight." I don't remember who he faced in his debut, but he probably faced like Shannon Moore or something. But that's it. But like I said, was kind of interested in Finlay, but yeah, they really fucked up on its babyface turn. Reginald D. Huff, what did you think of 2011 and 2012? Was it a good year? In general, 2011 was kind of a tough year for me because it was like I was graduating high school and then transitioning to college. And it was like a really, really tough year because it was like, you go from high school where you're forced to go to school 5 days a week and read textbooks and stuff like that. Then you go to college, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't even need to show up to your classes most of the time. I don't think most college students know that. But they don't really give a shit. Like professors, they're just so laid back. And so I wasn't used to that. And in 2012, it was a pretty solid year. I had definitely some rough spots in 2012. I stopped loving making videos and I actually left YouTube for a little bit in 2012. But, it was back when I found that passion again to make videos and talk about wrestling and got reinvigorated when I felt I had fun with it. So, yeah. Final Limits told me you asked him on Facebook on a personal message, you good. Why did you ask him that if he was good? He sent me like a message that I couldn't read. And so I just wanted to know if he was okay. I couldn't read the message. That's the reason why I asked him, like, you good, dog? So that's how I normally talk. Like, if someone sends me a text and I can't read it, I'll be like, you good, man? What's up? And so, like, that's just what I was asking. I was just asking if he was fine. He responded, so he was fine to me. Nintendo Fanboy 1998 asks, do you think Matt Hardy looks Puerto Rican? Nah, he doesn't look Puerto Rican to me. And what did you think of Daphne from TNA? She was a crazy bitch, man. Daphne in WCW, she was much more crazier than Daphne in TNA. But I remember, I think it was Lockdown where she was in that barbed wire. I was like, oh my god, what kind of woman would do that, man? Like, oh man, she was definitely crazy. She earned her money. She earned her money the hard way for sure. John Kunt asks, which of the 3 Kardashian sisters would you like to sleep with? Oh, Kim. Just even touching Kim or like having pictures with Kim just makes me automatically a celebrity. Like the other 2, like, okay, Chloe, whatever. And I forgot the other one that's dating Scott. I forgot her name. I would definitely love to sleep with Kendall. Kendall Jenner. I don't know if she counts as a Kardashian sister because her last name's Jenner. But I would definitely sleep with Kendall. Which 5 black female celebrities do you think is hot? I forgot the movie. I forgot the name of this actress, but she was in this Kevin Hart movie, like, Going on 30. It was actually pretty funny. She was really fine. She played like a sportscaster, so it turned me on that she was a sportscaster, and she was very beautiful looking. Halle Berry back in the day. Kyla Pratt. She's more known from the Proud Family, but she had another TV show called One on One. She looked fine every episode. Serena Williams, yes, she counts as a fucking celebrity. She plays a sport, and she's hot. And Skylar Diggins. Give me 2 minutes with Skylar Diggins. And she's a basketball player. Makes her a celebrity, damn it. Lino Gino, Q&A. What did you think of Matt Hardy's B1 gimmick from late 2002 and 2003? Fucking genius, man. They should have given Matt Hardy more with that gimmick, dude. Like, I loved when he would come out and I would get my MattHardy.com updates. Like, Matt Hardy loves chocolate milk. That was fucking awesome. They should have given Matt Hardy at least 1 world title shot. I mean, hell, if fucking rapping John Cena could have gotten the title shot in 2003, Matt Hardy as, like, the heaviest cruiserweight champion of all time could have at least gotten 1 title shot. And what did you think of when Paul Heyman got Shannon Moore beat up every week back in 2003 by Matt Morgan, Nathan Jones, Big Show, and Brock Lesnar? It was more of just enhancement talent matches, to enhance the fact that, oh, Matt Morgan's a beast. Oh, Nathan Jones is a beast. Oh, Big Show's a beast. Brock Lesnar is a beast. So, really, that's the only reason why Shannon Moore got his ass kicked. I know there was something more to the story. I can't remember, like, what the storyline was. Was it that Shannon Moore, like, disrespected Paul Heyman, and so that's why he was punishing him? I can't remember the story all that much, but I know what you're talking about because I remember Shannon Moore would get his ass kicked every week. Shore Horror asked, what made you say enough is enough with all the Lexman questions? It was more or less that I just was getting tired of being asked, like, what did I think about the Lexman being a teacher, or what did I think about the Lexman's music and all that stuff. Like, Listen, I have no problem answering questions like what I think about other YouTubers. I have no problem of doing that. I have no problem giving my thoughts about Bruce Blitz, you know, and his channel, or OTR Central, or the Wrestling Gurus, you know, all the YouTube channels. You guys can ask me those questions. I have no problem about that. But what I do have a problem with is when you ask me every little thing about them. Like, say, for example, if the Schleg Daddy got a motorcycle, I don't want to be asked questions like, what do you think about Schleg Daddy's motorcycle? That's a waste of a question for y'all. Y'all could ask better questions than what do I think about Schleg Daddy's motorcycle? I just felt like, you know, with Jal Pipical, like I said, look, dude, I know you like the Lexman and all. I know you obsess over him, but you can ask him these things yourself. Why are you asking me about everything the Lexman does? I don't know why he wants to be a teacher. I don't. So that's why, like, I have no problem if you guys want to ask me a question about, oh, what do you think about the Lexman's channel? That's cool and all. I'm fine with those. I'm just talking about personal life stuff. Like I said, like, why would you want to waste your question asking about a Schleg Daddy's motorcycle if he ever got one? Or like fucking if Fool Killer got like a paddle bike or whatever, or Fool Killer doesn't know how to swim or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, why would you want to waste questions on stuff about other YWC members when you can ask, like, you know, anything you want? Like, I give you guys 2 questions every week. Why would you want to waste your questions asking me about certain YWC members and their personal lives? Like in all honesty, I love a lot of the YWC members. I truly do. I'm good friends with a lot of them, but I don't really care that much what they're doing in personal life. Like, you know, it's what they like to do. I like talking wrestling, sports, and other stuff with these people. I don't ask them about, like, oh, how's your girlfriend, how's your boyfriend, or whatever. So that's just me. That's just me. That's the reason why I said no to Jal Pipical's the Lexman questions. It wasn't me trying to be mean to Jal Pipical. I said, hey, dude. I even said in that video where I said no to the questions, I even said in the video, hey, dude, you're probably a smart kid. I know you could probably ask better questions. Just giving you a heads up, send different questions, man. I wasn't trying to be mean to the guy. I was just being honest with him. Look, like, it's cool. The Lexman's a teacher. The Lexman's this. The Lexman's that. That's awesome. But I know you could ask better questions than everything about the Lexman. That's just the bottom line. That's the reason why I said no to a lot of those questions. Like I said, I'll answer any questions, like, if you guys want to know my thoughts on channels. But when it comes down to, you know, just personal life stuff about YWC members and YWC drama, I tend to stay away from those videos because it's none of my business. If Owen was still alive, what would he be doing now? Probably living in a house in Canada, you know, making appearances every once in a while for the WWF or WWE. Sorry, I have the tendency to call it WWF sometimes. But I don't think he would be wrestling whatsoever. Maybe wrestling for, like, Canadian Stampede Wrestling, if that was still around. Lino Gino, you asked other questions, and I'll just say that for the Tuesday Q&A, if that's cool with you, man. If not, you can just send in new questions. The Savvy Yes Man asked, why is it that the internet fans always start to dislike a certain wrestler whenever they turn babyface, like they are doing right now with Roman Reigns? It's one of the mysteries of the IWC, isn't it? Like, someone gets pushed, and it's just like, oh, man, why is this guy getting pushed? He's not good enough. And then all of a sudden, you know, when that guy gets buried by John Cena 2 years later, they're like, you know, I really like that guy. I wish they went all the way with him. It's one of the mysteries. I think it's more of just the personal taste. You know, Roman Reigns, he's not really everyone's favorite wrestler. Like, if this was Cesaro, man, like, Savvy Yes Man, if this was Cesaro, guaranteed, IWC members would be calling this the greatest thing ever. That this is the right decision, the right move. What? Like, seriously, they would be saying that. If this was Cesaro, they would love the shit out of this. They would. But with Roman Reigns, it's just because a lot of people kind of fear for him. I think there's a lot of Roman Reigns fans, and I'm one of them, who are afraid that he's just going to become the next John Cena. I think that's why a lot of people are starting to hate Roman Reigns. It's just because, like, you know, even though, like, you know, Roman Reigns is something refreshing, and even though people see a lot of talent in Roman Reigns and they understand why the WWE likes this guy, a lot of people are just afraid that he's going to be like the next John Cena, and that's something no one wants to see. And Read 19 will end up this Q&A, wrap up this Q&A, I should say. Will Cena lose his last match ever by submission? And would this be a good idea? No, John Cena will never tap out, but yes, in hell, it would be a good idea. Are you kidding me? You bring in like, just picture this. You bring in a fresh young talent, and it's John Cena's last match. Let's say it's at WrestleMania, and this fresh young talent makes John Cena tap out. Holy cow. Way to make this guy look like the biggest badass in the world. Make him look like the toughest son of a bitch. Make him look like the dude that can do anything. I mean, he made the guy whose mantra is never give up, tap out. I mean, John Cena has been never giving up for however many years that he's going to be wrestling still, and this motherfucker comes in and he makes him tap out. It'd be a great idea, but the WWE would never do that. That would just make too much sense. And question number 2, should Ryback have won the Royal Rumble in 2013 over Cena? Oh, yeah. I always was one of those guys that kind of was an advocate for Ryback. You know, I always liked Ryback. I know some people didn't like him, but I did. And I always felt that you could have used Ryback to win this Rumble, and then you could have had Ryback versus Big Show or Ryback versus Henry, and you could have made a WrestleMania moment. I remember I said this, you know, I wrote a blog for this, make my WrestleMania dream card. I said, how sick would it be if you had Ryback put Big Show or fucking Mark Henry on his shoulders, one of the two, and he shell shocks him. That's a WrestleMania moment in the making. That's something that fans will remember. Like, I remember Ryback shell shocking the Big Show, and then him grabbing the world title, holding it, and going, "Feed me more, feed me more." I mean, it would have just been awesome. I mean, you could have done Cena and Rock anyways. I mean, it's not like fucking John Cena needs to do much to challenge the Rock. He'd just be like, "Hey, Rock, I need to challenge you again. You know, you're the reason why 2012 was a pretty bad year for me, even though it wasn't. But, yeah, I need to challenge you. And because I'm John Cena, you can't see me. My time is now." Like, John Cena could challenge The Rock any other fucking way. So, yeah, they should have went with the Ryback at the end of the day. But sadly, they didn't, and they just went with the same old shit. Thank you guys very much for sending in the questions for the Q&A. Remember to send in your questions for next Tuesday's Q&A. If you guys thought any of the questions were interesting, comment down below what question you liked. And, you know, you can answer some of the questions that were asked in this video. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure to read the description box for all the rules on how you can send me questions for the Tuesday Q&A. Follow me on Twitter at ChaseOver68. Check out my website, Chilling with Chase. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Peace.